is the executive producer of the Amanda Show, Dan Schneider.
Hi.
Now, you're the executive producer of the show.
Yes, I'm the executive producer and the head writer.
You actually wrote the words we're saying to each other right now.
Yeah. Yes, I wrote this whole conversation that we're having right
Hayden Panettiere has officially named the woman that she accused of trafficking her on a yacht.
A small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this.
Amanda Bynes is back in the spotlight after Hayden Panettiere's shady death, and according to her, Hayden was unalived by the same people who forced her into being an industry yacht girl when she was younger. It's unclear just how long Amanda has known about this, but it all makes sense considering she was also a victim of those same industry creeps she's now talking about. Amanda literally had to run out of the industry because she was allegedly getting touched on by multiple executives. The authority and even accused her dad of also touching her inappropriately at one point. And just when she decided to be vocal about it, she was thrown into a conservatorship to shut her up for good. But now she's out of it, and she has a lot to say. Now, just for a little context on Amanda, the allegations about what the industry did to her started when she started breaking down publicly. In 2013, when Amanda was in a psychiatric hold, she posted on Twitter that her father, Rick, had essayed her as a child. Her parents denied it, calling themselves heartbroken. Weeks later, she retracted the claim entirely, tweeting that a microchip implanted in her brain had made her say it. But it didn't stop there. That same year, following her arrest for tossing a bong out her 36th floor Manhattan window, she alleged on Twitter that the officer who arrested her had essayed her during the arrest. The department's Internal Affairs Bureau opened an investigation, and that's when a civilian witness who was present for the entire arrest told investigators no officer touched her inappropriately or engaged in any misconduct. And in a now-deleted 2013 tweet, she claimed she had been impregnated at 13 by an unnamed boss, who a lot of people believe to be Dan Schneider. Now, even though Amanda had seemingly falsely accused the officer earlier, this time people were actually paying attention because Dan has a long history of taking advantage of the younger women who he worked with, and unfortunately, Amanda was one of them. In fact, this is one of the first major things linking Amanda and Hayden, because they both pretty much had the same experience with older, creepy men. The only difference is, it wasn't by the same man, but the experience was the same. If you remember, not too long ago, a documentary was released about him called Quiet on Set, where multiple former Amanda Show writers, including Jenny Kilgan, alleged that Dan ran a hostile, male-dominated writer's room, where she said she and another female writer were pressured to give him massages and act out embarrassing or explicit suggestive scenarios tied to whether their sketches got approved for air. Two women also said they were forced to split a single writer's salary between them. He was accused of dismissing female writers outright, reportedly telling one he didn't believe women were funny. The documentary exposed him for repeatedly writing explicitly suggestive content into scenes involving underage cast members, like Ariana Grande's Cat Valentine bits on Victorious. Now, as for Amanda, she got sucked into that world when she joined his shows at 13. A footage that resurfaced not too long ago showed the two of them together in a hot tub for a network promo, where Dan was right beside a then-teenage Amanda in a swimsuit. People close to the production said she spent a lot of time with him and his wife outside work, gave him neck massages, and would leave schoolwork to pitch ideas to him privately. Why is a 13-year-old allowed to give this grown man massages, be in the pool with him, and have private talks with him? No one was protecting her at all. It got so bad that Amanda even tried to get emancipation from her parents at 16, so she could go live with Dan. Apparently, he even got her a place to stay when she ran from home, following a fight with her father. And up until this day, people believe he may have taken advantage of her in ways that are very similar to what Hayden went through. But the only thing is, unlike Amanda, Hayden actually spoke out about it herself, and not even 3 months later, she suspiciously loses her life. Word on the street is this is why Amanda stayed silent. She knew she'd lose her life if she spoke out, and just decided to leave Hollywood altogether. Unfortunately for Hayden, she took the first step towards speaking her truth, and they made her pay with her life. So months before Hayden's death, she detailed an incident in her memoir, This Is Me, A Reckoning, and on Jay Shetty's podcast, about the time she was forced into being a yacht girl at 18. She said a woman she trusted as a protector named Stella in the book led her onto a yacht, down into a small cabin, and physically placed her in bed beside an undressed, very famous man. And according to Hayden, this woman and the industry executive were acting like this was not new to them. She said she went into what she called survival mode, refused, and fled to hide elsewhere on the boat, but had nowhere to go since she was out at sea. She never named the man or the woman publicly, explaining to The Hollywood Reporter that they were industry people she could run into again, and she didn't want to be sued by very pissed-off famous people. She separately said she was also confronted by an unnamed Oscar-winning actor and director who exposed himself to her at 19.
By somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector and somebody who had my back, and to be walked down the stairs and presented as though it was like a surprise. And it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this. Like this was just, an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time. And I waited for her.
Now, since Hayden explicitly revealed in her memoir that this incident happened on Diana's boat, people immediately called Diana Jenkins for allegedly being the trusted adult in question that Hayden was talking about. But her team immediately debunked the allegations and even threatened to sue anyone who would accuse her of being involved. Diana has had to deal with false online rumors before, and sadly, this is just another example of that. So let me be 100% clear about this. It most certainly is not Diana, and anyone who claims it is her will be sued. And as for the industry she was forced to sleep with, well, a lot of people have been side-eyeing James Blunt, and they have a few reasons that I will be telling you about in a second. So if you remember, Hayden said the industry executive was a British singer-songwriter in his 30s at the time, and that directly matches James in 2007 to 2008. Not only that, there are also photos of James and Hayden together at a 2009 Cannes Amphar party, alongside Diana Jenkins. And in fact, just like Hayden, James also had a chapter in his memoir where he spoke about his time on Diana's boat. The coincidences are just too loud to ignore, and it doesn't help that James had decided to stay silent instead of addressing everything. Now, even though Amanda hasn't publicly spoken about Hayden's death, word on the street is she's been going on and on behind the scenes about how Hayden was unalived by the people she was speaking about. Apparently, this is exactly why she's quiet, and Hayden's was a reminder for her to keep her mouth shut, if she really wants to stay alive. As usual, people had their thoughts like this person who said, "They got rid of her. They couldn't risk letting the truth come out. May she now rest." Another person said, "Why do people talk but not drop names? Just tell it all. Drop all names just in case, or write it down and give it to multiple people in case something happens to you." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Amanda coming out to expose what was done to Hayden? And do you really think the reason Amanda stayed silent about her experience is because she didn't want to end up like Hayden? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.